Alright everyone, time for another session. Who remembers what happened last time? No one? No one remember what happened last time? Did anyone take notes? Okay. So you guys were going through Hightown and you were looking for... Oh, come on, guys. Really? Alright, fine. Let me recall everything for you again. Hello, everyone. My name is Ian, the part-time Dungeon Master, and welcome back to D20 Sundays. This episode's on taking notes. For the love of God, take notes. Make your Dungeon Master happy. It's not that hard. Just take notes. Even if it's just like minor notes. Just write something down. Something that will help when it comes to like the, what happened last session, as well as, the reason why you guys are wandering around this session. There's too many times I've been either the Dungeon Master or I've been a player in a group where I was the only one taking notes, or no one was taking notes because I was like, hey, I don't have to take notes because there's other people who do it, and they're not. I've got these right here. I got a problem with like leather journals in the sense that I like buying them and, yeah. But I got these ones here, demonstrate, taking notes is important. It's very important to take notes. So what should you be taking notes on? Well, how about the town that you guys are in? If you're in a town, or the area, if you're in a forest, or if you're in a jungle, or, some sort of hamlet, or it's a port town, or something, a big city. Something. You need notes about the area that you're in. Where you can get food, where you can get resources, where you can get shelter, what certain things are, if you're in a city or a town, what the shopkeepers, where they're located, and what they might have for sale. Notes like that. Speaking of shopkeepers, people. Having notes on people, such as this shopkeeper, he's a blacksmith. This one's a general store. This one's horses, and so on and so forth. Where are they located? How much their general prices are. Very quick, easy notes of like, okay, standard price, and so on and so forth. As well as for when it comes to NPCs, as far as like important people, like maybe the mayor of the town, or maybe the NPC that's with you guys, that's traveling with you, or I don't know, the person who's like over the land. Things like that would be helpful. Especially reoccurring NPCs who like you guys bump into every now and then. It's good to have a bit of rapport with them and actually say, hey, I remember something about you. You're not just some guy that I completely forgot about because you stopped being helpful to me in that one situation. No, I remember you. It would be so much helpful to your Dungeon Master and also to other players if you just took notes and remembered things. Because it's very frustrating to be sitting there asking your players, hey, do you guys remember what you're even doing in this area? And being greeted with blank stares because none of them know, or they can't remember, and none of them bother to take notes. So please take notes. Especially on quest givers. Oh my god, quests and quest givers. Please write down where the quest is, if you have a timetable as far as like you have to get it done before a certain time, and what the quest itself is. Like, is it a fetch quest for an item? Is it a kill quest because someone's being a dick? Is it something? Write down what the quest is, and then also write down what the reward is. Because if you don't remember, the Dungeon Master can change it on you if he feels like you guys have been too much trouble. Or if, because, the Dungeon Master might forget and, he wants to make sure that his players can double check and make sure it's like, oh, hey, I promised this price. Another thing that you can do as a player when it comes to taking notes is on special days or special events. It kind of shows that you're paying attention to the world and that you're being invested in the world and the campaign, and the fact that you know about special days or special events. Maybe it's a holy day. Maybe it's a fair that's coming into town on this certain day. Maybe it's the princess's wedding or something. But marking down when these special events are going to occur when you hear about them ahead of time, then you can essentially be like, oh hey, we're going to be arriving in town just in time for, this big festival going on for the princess's wedding. I wonder if there's going to be events going on to where we can compete and get extra money. It also gives you a chance to, like, it's like, hey, this happened previously in the campaign and, or in the adventure, so, hey, Dungeon Master, remember when this happened, is that going to be affecting anything in the future? And the Dungeon Master can say, well, yeah, it's going to affect something, and then, you guys can, reap the benefits of your choices from that previous encounter, or it could be like a build-up to something else that's like, hey, all these notes are coming together that you've been taking throughout the entire quest, and you've actually had the identity of the villain all along, you just got to look at your notes. Puzzles, also. Puzzles and mazes. For the love of God, take notes of those. If it's a maze, jot it down. Which paths you take. Did you take a left? Did you take a right? Did you, keep going straight through the middle? Did you go up a level? Did you go down a level? Things like these in a maze are very important because it's like, okay, how do we get out? Not to mention, when it comes to other puzzles, such as maybe you're giving a blue X, a green Y, a red Y, and a blue V, well, you have to essentially assign them in a certain order, and if you don't assign them in the correct order based upon maybe not only their letter but their color, then you won't solve the puzzle and you'll set off a trap. So you need to make sure that you're taking notes and you're paying attention to the surroundings, as the surroundings often have the hints to the puzzle. It's oftentimes good to take a good note and use your notebook to essentially jot down as far as like, okay, if we go in this order, this should be the correct order, so let's try this one. I like journals and leather notebooks and stuff, so all of these have something in them. And I like taking notes. They make no sense to anyone else that's read them. I've been accused of using some weird shorthand that makes no sense to anyone else, only to me. And that's perfectly fine, because as long as I can make sense of them, then, I can convey that to everyone else. But if someone else use my notebooks and try to use my notes, they are not going to understand any of it. But that's fine, because the notes are for me as a player. They're my notes for me to say, hey, in the last session we did da-da-da-da-da. So that means in this session we need to continue on with da-da-da-da and do da-da-da-dee. Anyways, that's pretty much it. My pleading to you to please take notes when you're in your game. In the middle of the session, it's perfectly fine if you bust out your notebooks like, hey, hold on, can I write down that NPC's name? Could you give me the spelling of it to make sure I have it correct? And stuff like that. The Dungeon Master will most likely be, like, oh, hey, yeah, this is how you spell the name. So that way you can be like, oh, cool, I've got that down. My character now memorizes it because I've got the notes. You as the player can forget things, but if you write it down and you have your notes and you have your notes with you, your character remembers it then. I need a drink. Anyways, I'll catch you guys in the next D20 Sundays. Laters.